From one major hack of crypto, which proves my point each and every day, of meme coins and crypto not being the answer for future currency, to literally breaking news dealing with the fact that Zelensky is now kowtowing and surrendering to Trump when it comes to the agreement of rare earth minerals. You're starting to see some major plays. The amount of breaking news that has happened over the last few hours is astronomical. It literally is mind-blowing. Let's go over some of these crazy stories. One dealing with the fact of a new scare that's coming out of China. Are we seeing the time of we talk about technological war, but we cannot forget about the fact that are we seeing truly a bioweapon? Now you think I'm crazy, but the more and more you hear about all these mutations, these outbreaks, there may be a lot more to it. And then we need to look at the fact of, okay, is this something that we should worry about? Is this something like terror? Or is this just another psyop? I mean, it all weighs on you because you're thinking, okay, I've got to make sure I'm prepared for each one of those. Can it be something like a psyop, so I'm just prepared to keep on doing what I'm doing? Can I be prepared for something that could be very dangerous to us? Or could it be the fact of, we should not only be prepared, we should make sure that we ground ourselves away from people. I mean, are we to that point? So we have a lot to think about dealing with this new outbreak, and we need to discuss it. And also we're going to talk about the Congo. What we're seeing in South African countries and even in the Middle African countries where the war on Caucasians, but not only that, the war on Christians. It's sad that no one is really discussing it because it doesn't seem to deal with the Middle East, or it doesn't seem to deal with the narrative of these conflicts going on. What we're missing is the fact that there is persecution happening everywhere. And as the church, as Christians, what are we supposed to do? Let's dive into these stories today. Crazy, crazy time. Hey guys, welcome to The Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up. Please, if you like the video, we humbly ask that you give us a thumbs up because it helps us spread our message across this platform. And comment below. Tell us what you think about these stories because each one of these impacts you different than maybe your neighbor or someone else that is watching the video. So when we talk amongst ourselves, it allows us to get more knowledge, more wisdom as we go through these crazy stories and try to really raise our families in them. Now, again, we have another video coming on Life with Colby Mack today. We show you exactly how we live sustainable. So grab this video, but go check out the other channel because what we try to do is let this news hit you, learn from it, and then you go over and you learn how to actually be sustainable. And so that other channel really helps you see exactly what we do behind the scenes here at The Max. Now let's jump into the stories of the day. First, let's talk about Trump. Trump put a kind of ultimatum on Zelensky and saying, look, not only are we not going to give you anything else, the stuff that we have given you and the fact that you are buying arms, the only way you're going to get it is through us harvesting your rare earth minerals. Now, no matter if you like that or not, no matter if you say that's a quid pro quo, no matter if you think, well, that's basically what we've done with the GMO crops that you were talking about yesterday, Colby, USAID. No, that's not what it is at all. What we've done but in the past with Biden and with these other administrations, if we've given money lackadaisical and supported a war that we shouldn't even be in, but not only that, we just gave money in the fact of saying that they're these wonderful people and, that we should protect them. All the while, he's actually not allowing for free elections and also persecuting Christians. But no, what Trump is saying is we're going to, now if you're going to get our goods and we're going to quote unquote have to keep doing things to help you, then therefore we're wanting something in return. Rare earth minerals, what we don't realize, rare earth minerals was a staple of currency for thousands of years. Now, what are rare earth minerals now? Rare earth minerals and the things that's in our ground is actually what is helping build the technological semiconductors, the technological AI, also helping with energy. All those things like copper, all those things like gold, all those things like silver, nickel, all the things in our earth, the fuel, everything that God has given us is actually now benefiting us more than ever because those things are needed to build all the stuff we're building, if it's from uranium to lithium to whatever it may be. So what Trump is saying, look, if we're not just going to keep giving you taxpayer money with not getting something in return. Now, I don't think we should be over there at all. I believe we should keep our money to ourselves. I believe we should do not only a freeze, I think we should not do anything when it comes to the other world until we get our house in order here. However, if we are going to support someone, Europe, Ukraine, Israel, Africa, I don't care who it is. There needs to be, I'm giving you something and therefore you're giving me something in return. Just common sense here. I mean, it's just like you going to the store. You don't go to Walmart or you don't go to your grocer and just give them money for nothing. You get something in return. You're buying something. At the same time, you don't go into the store and just steal it. You have to give them money. So it's not a quid pro quo. It's literally just a transactional thing. So if we're going to transact, just like we did with Europe, Europe is buying our natural gas now. That's a good thing. You know why they did that? Was because Trump pressed them to say, look, you can't just get stuff and get our help for nothing. We're going to tariff you. Or either you're going to start buying your natural gas from us instead of buying it from Russia. And therefore, bam, it started. Transaction. Wasn't a quid pro quo, it was a transaction. So I think this is the kind of hard line that we definitely need in America. That if we are giving money across the world, there needs to be some value coming back to us, either through funds and money or through things that we're needing here in America. So I think this is a win. Now, here's the kicker. Not that I'm against deals, not that I'm against expanding, not that I'm against trying to help out other people across the world. That's what our last story is about, dealing with the Congo. But we need to have it in a way that makes sense. So it's kind of like I've told you before, and I use this cliche a lot. I could love to help out my neighbor. I can help go build his fence. I can help him keep his cows in. I could help him wash his house. I can help paint his house. I could help, fix a leak in his bathroom. That's all good. I'd love to help people like that. There's nothing wrong with that. If we're giving it or if they're paying us for it, it doesn't matter. It's a good thing that we're doing that. But if I let all that stuff go here, then I've not done anything but caused a great situation for him and a bad situation back at my home. I have to focus on my home first. So yes, I love the fact that we are starting to negotiate with our players around the world, even what we consider our allies. But we cannot take our eyes off America. America, just for instance, we had a Maine governor push against Trump yesterday, and Trump pretty much put her in her spot. But what I'm saying is, you have governors who despise our leadership. I mean, did you hear Jasmine Crockett yesterday, how she's now rooting? Jasmine Crockett, I hope this is the face of the Democrat Party, because it only benefits us as conservatism. But Jasmine Crockett, who is a Democratic leader, and now pretty much becoming the limelight, the darling, almost like the new AOC, she came out yesterday and said she is going to, it's funny, she has pushed for reparations for all these years. Now that they're wanting to give a quote-unquote dividend back to Americans, she's against it because it comes from Trump. So the same people she was pushing for reparations for, now she's saying they don't deserve anything because it comes from Trump. So that's kind of funny. It's an oxymoron. But not only that, she came out yesterday and said she's rooting for Mexico and Canada over America because of our leadership is failing and they're in the right. If we have leaders like this, why do we need enemies? So this is what I'm saying. We take our eyes off just American things and we put them on foreign things. Yes, we need to have a view on foreign things, but what we don't need to miss out on is we have leaders in America that are literally working against America. We've talked about the judges. We've talked about the Democratic leaders. Look, yesterday, the Senate, Cruz, Graham, some of those, the staunch conservatives that they say, which is a lie, they supported a spending bill of $340 billion. Extra spending. So how can we say, oh, well, that makes sense? Well, they're trying to help us. No, it makes no sense that we just put a spending bill up in America. So we cannot focus, even though it's good for rare earth minerals, even though it's good to have arms deals with countries that agree with us, we cannot take our eyes off America, because even though Trump's doing good things by cutting tons of things, cutting tons of jobs that we shouldn't have, cutting the government and waste, your congressman sitting is still trying to spend $340. You have a congressman who says she'd rather see Mexico and Canada win over America when it comes to economy and goods because they're doing better. You have judges pushing against and wanting to cover up the fraud and keep it going. So we cannot take our eyes off the prize, and we cannot say, oh, well, we love what we're doing across the world, but missing out on the fact that our house is still in disarray. We need to get it balanced. And that leads me right to the story. Before we go into the story about Bitcoin and crypto and how I'm just fully against it because of these two stories, a word from today's sponsor. Our world is pretty much ran on computers in digital formats now. You see all these records are starting to go all digitized, getting away from paperwork. And it's amazing how good it makes life sometimes. But sometimes it can be very scary. Now what I'm holding is a $20 cheap little stamp that actually Looks like a notary stamp, but it's not. Now I don't use this. I want to show you this because the biggest asset that you have in your life is most likely your home. Well, with one little stamp and one little quick document online that a lot of people, especially even the FBI, is saying could be one of the most dangerous crimes that are being committed day in and day out because of this digital world that we live in, is homesteading. It's how safe is our deed? How safe is our home? Yeah, we can protect it physically. Can you protect it from all the digital threats? What if all of a sudden you realize the home that you're paying for has a second mortgage against it? What if all of a sudden you have your home paid off and all of a sudden you realize there's some kind of home equity line of credit that's been taken out and they're looking for you to pay it back? Well, FBI says this is one of the most prominent ways that thieves are stealing homes is by people not protecting their title. My sponsor today is Home Title Lock. They offer a triple lock protection. Not only can they check and make sure that your title is safe, they help alert and make sure that it stays safe, and if there's any problems that they reach out and they let you know and you can get it handled. Also, they help for restoration. Now, the good thing about Home Title Lock is right now, if you use my link below, HometitleLock.com/themax, you can get a free scan and a 30-day trial to see if you've already been compromised. If not, do not miss out on the opportunity to get Home Title Lock. Again, physically is one thing. Technologically, it's a whole new ballgame. This $20 stamp and one little single piece of paper called a quitclaim deed could ruin everything that you've worked so hard for. Do not let that happen. Check out HometitleLock.com/themax. Do not miss out on this opportunity for their triple lock protection. I want to make sure that for pennies a day, literally for cents a day, that you could be protected. Check out HometitleLock.com/themax today. Again, technologically, you need to get your house in order. One of those things is protecting it from bad players. Which brings me into the next story, crypto. Now, if you have not been keeping up with crypto and meme coins, I told you about the situation with Argentina. It makes Malay looks terrible. Meme coins pretty much is like a casino gambling. But all you people who believe in crypto, I want to read this story to you because this proves to me exactly why I'm against crypto in the first place. Bytebit hack, largest crypto heist traced back to Lazarus Group. What I'm saying is, you think that your money is safe on these quote-unquote parallels. What you're actually seeing is it's still hackable. The Lazarus Group hacked $1.4 billion away from this platform, which of course sent crypto spiraling. I mean, a lot of the meme coins in crypto went down because everybody realizes, oh crap, I mean, is my money actually safe? No, we've told you this. And if you choose to have Bitcoin, or you choose to have crypto, or you choose to have meme coins or NFTs, all that stuff, I think you need to look at it just like a casino. You need to look at it just like a lottery. You put money in knowing you're probably going to lose it or knowing it's not going to grow, but you're just taking a risk on it. You need to understand that don't put your whole life savings in it. I mean, there's people still pouring their whole life savings in these kind of things to then lose it and then complain to the government that they lost it because it's not regulated enough. If people are taking your money and it's hackable and there's people literally able to be called snipes to take your money off these meme coins, legally, illegally, it doesn't matter. What we're seeing is the fall of crypto right before our eyes. I heard a guy the other day say this, and I thought this was huge. This came off the All In podcast. It said, it's amazing how our economy through the 90s and through 2000s, even in the late 80s, had such a boom. We made so much money, so many good successful moves, and we still, to this day, squandered every bit of it by borrowing too much money and not capitalizing on the success. Now, what he was saying was, we've been so successful in our nation, but if we keep spending and we keep being frivolous with it, then technically we didn't have any successes because all our failures outweigh our successes. Now, technology is great, but like with this situation where instead of worrying about technology being the new digitized form of money and thinking it's going to be quote unquote safe, what we're realizing is with all the technological advances we've had, with all the good things we've learned and how we could come back and build our economy and our currency back on true tangible good like rare earth minerals, like gold, instead we want to frivolously throw it away on hopes of some kind of technological coin or speculative currency or AI push. And yes, I'm not saying we can't learn from those things, but what I'm saying is if we put all our efforts into those things, what we're seeing is the falter of it. Look at Argentina. Milei was kind of like the chosen one when it comes to populist and libertarian leaders. And then he got his cart before his horse and embraced meme coin and Hundreds of millions of dollars were lost, all because he chose to say everybody should invest in it, and they already took it. Like the Bytebit. Your money on Bytebit, or your money in this exchange, was taken. FTX, let's go back a few years, taken. We allow these people to pretty much take our money, and it's not about regulation or deregulation. I could care less about that. It's about common sense. That's like me saying, well, I have a window here, so let's just throw money out of it. And I mean, if the wind's not blowing, it'll stay right there by the window and it'd be safe. It's just not too smart, is it? I could say, well, I have a fire pit in my home and I'm going to light the fire pit. Now, for us, we have a chimney and a fire pit, but we have a border for it. So that way, when we put wood in, we put the border back up, the metal mesh. That way we know the fire won't get out. Now, we could leave the fire exposed and just hope for the best. We have a rug laid beside it, so we can say, well, you know what? I mean, it's a fire. It's got a chimney. It shouldn't pop any embers out. We don't need to put this protection here. And that fire pops out and burns our house down. And then we want to blame someone to say, well, our fire got out. Well, the fire got out because we chose to be stupid and not put the cover in front of it. So same way with Bitcoin, meme coins, NFTs, and all that, casino gambling. I mean, if we go into, say, making stupid decisions with our money, then we're probably going to get stupid consequences because of those stupid decisions, and we're going to have to live with those stupid consequences to realize we can't blame it on anyone but ourselves. So if you're putting money in crypto, pay attention. There's people losing money left and right. The ones who make money are the ones influencing you to invest in it. It's kind of like multi-level marketing. Every one of you have been hit up by multi-level marketing. The people that make the money is not people selling the product. It's people selling you to invest in the product for them to think you're going to get rich. They're making crap loads of money off of you, and all the while, you've bought all this product to try to sell to your neighbor. It's all schemes. Let's get back to sell money, sell currency. Got to go back to gold and cash, and leaving the fact that if we build our stockpiles on gold and tangible goods, it will help us get rid of the debt and start building a country. It's like a city on a hill again. I don't want Trump to get so inundated with crypto and AI that he loses focus on what tangible wealth is. He's a real estate developer. He's made money off tangible property. What I want to see is him go back to that and say, you know what, I've made billions off tangible property. Why do I want to take this new route just because they tell us it's safe and good? Why don't we go back to what's done well for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years? Now, two more stories I want to hit on. Did you see about the new bat CV virus found in China? They said it could have the potential of spreading and being more dangerous than the last. Now, again, these stories come out pretty regularly. The thing I think that we have to pay attention to when it comes to these talking points is three things. Do we believe it or not believe it? Do we still prepare for it even though we may not believe it or believe it? And then lastly, do we do nothing and just live lackadaisical? I think there's a balancing edge there. There's still today people wearing triple mask and double mask in Walmart. I call that incompetent and stupid because they have not learned anything. And they've probably received all 45 boosters. And to be honest with you, they're probably sicker than they've ever been. Then at the very bottom, you can't be so lackadaisical to think that, well, if I just put my head in the sand, everything's going to be okay. Life is perfect. Everything's good. We live in a world that's always going to give us everything we want. You can't live there either. You have to live in the middle. And so what I'm saying is we have to see these stories, like, for instance, it says Wuhan Institute of Virology reports of a new version of the 2020 pandemic that has potential of being very dangerous. Now, what they're doing is they're spinning as, well, we don't know anything about it because the funding was cut off. Well, the funding was cut off because we shouldn't have been funding gain of function anyway. But anyways, let's keep on going. It says the research was conducted by the Wuhan Institute. But guess what it did? It made stocks rise on medicines. Now, here's the things. Here's how I look at all this. When it comes to measles, when it comes to all these pandemic talks, when it talks about the outbreak. Do I trust in everything they say? No. At the other end of the spectrum, do I just say they're all false and all they want to do is make money off of us? No. Now, I probably lean closer to that. But here's what I'm saying. Are we in a time where we see these kind of things happening? It's more of a bioweapon. Now, let's go back and say this. The flu this year. I'll be honest with you. We've dealt with some major sickness here at our home. Not to a point where we're going to get medicine. Not the point where we're going to wear 14 masks. But the point of, it's just knocked us back. Our church has been sick. Our community's had a lot of sickness. The more we see this, and the more we see like the measles kind of superseding the people doing this, it's kind of mutated. Now we see this new mutation here. Have we just realized that this could just be bioterrorist? I mean, why are we kind of weeding that out? Do we not say, we know it's not natural, okay. We know we can't just act like carefree and everything's okay, because we will end up getting sick from something, because we're going to get the common cold, we're going to get flu, we're going to get a virus, we're going to get strep throat. We understand that sickness is around. So the middle ground is this. You take these stories, you listen to them, you understand them, you take them with a grain of salt, but then you also prepare it to know that you always have the insurance against it. For instance, we talk about the emergency medicines and things like that to have. We talk about having herbs. I mean, Misty planted hundreds of herbs just yesterday, and you can check that out on her channel. Hundreds of different plants, because we know health comes from what we're eating and making sure we're staying to the optimal position. Does that mean that we're wearing 4 masks? No. Does that mean we're taking every booster they give us? No. But that doesn't mean we go to town like a daisy and just say, oh, we're going to lick on Walmart buggies because we know we're safe. There's a friendly respect of all this. You take it, you learn from it, you prepare for it, and you just sit back and know that you are prepared and you are ready if something were to go wrong or something doesn't change. It doesn't affect you. It's kind of like we were talking about with crypto. If you want to play with crypto a little bit, fine. But don't put your whole life savings in it, because it changes your whole life if all of a sudden something goes wrong. You play with it, and if all of a sudden you realize that the market went down, oh, you lost maybe $50, $100, $1,000, depending on what kind of money you're putting in it. It didn't change your whole life. That's why you have to look at these outbreaks the same way. You can't live your life in fear, but you can't live your life lackadaisical, because more than nature, what we're seeing is people may not have our best intentions at heart. We've talked about that. I mean, look, Senate just spent $340 billion. We see people like Gates and Schwab doing things that really hinder us. So therefore, what we realize is that bio situation, that well, this could be terror, this could be function, this could be mutation that is really going to harm us to make us buy more things. What we're realizing is we have to stay in the middle. We have to realize we have to respect these things and understand that it could change our life. And then we also have to understand that it cannot make us live in fear. There is a balancing act, and I want you to just pay attention to these stories. I don't read them to you to make you fear. I read them to you to say, you know what? Let's get the things that we need. Let's make sure we're prepared, and we're going to live our life and be prepared and be ready just in case something goes crazy. I don't want you to be a Max watcher and you fighting over toilet paper in Walmart. I mean, it's pointless. I don't want you fighting over eggs in Costco. So that's why we go over these stories, so you can have a friendly respect for the story, learn from it, gain wisdom from it, and just be prepared and ready. There's no difference. Wuhan comes out, could be another mutation, could be something completely natural, which I doubt, could be something that's very dangerous to us because the players that be may want it to be. So let's prepare. Let's just be smart when we hear these stories. Now lastly, I want to wrap up with something that's, again, personal to me, because again, I'm a conservative, I am a Christian more than anything. There's a news story that there's been 70 beheadings and Christian attacks in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Why are we not talking about the dangers of Africa? Now, Trump has come out and said he's going to cut funding. Marco Rubio did too, because of the dangers of, the war on the farmer, the white farmer in Africa. That's a big deal. But what's even bigger is the religious persecution there. And we don't seem to talk about it because it deals with Islamic faith pretty much killing Christians. It's not in the Middle East, so it just loses proximity and value. We can't allow that to take place. I know our focus is the Middle East, and I know that's a religious juggernaut because of all the religions in the world pretty much find meaning in the Middle East. But what I don't want to do is to lose focus on people that are actively getting persecuted against. We've been mentioning this in Ukraine. Here we are funding Ukraine. Ukraine is literally, Zelensky is literally persecuting Christians there. There's countless stories of that. But nobody wants to bring attention to it. We want to turn our eye to it. There's this new story. Again, 70 beheadings, and they're getting more and more rampant because they know they're not getting held against. Why don't we stop this? You want to talk about protecting people? These are just people who doesn't need your billions. They don't need your quasi-millions. They don't need you to come in there and do anything, but just protect them. If you want to do anything, go in there and kill the guerrilla warfare. Go in there and take care of the situation. It's kind of like the cartels. These kind of things doesn't take you taking the whole country over. It doesn't take a 20-year war. It takes protecting people, pulling money like Trump has done. I have to give him credit on that. But what he should do is cut them completely off. Congo has a lot of problems, and a lot of those areas do. But you know what I would do? I would literally say, we're going to send someone in to annihilate the problem, Congo, if you do not solve it. We're cutting your funding. We're not going to give you any assistance. You need us. You can't make it without us. But if you do not stop this right here, we will come in and we will take care of it. Get in, get out, be done. Because this is something that we have lost focus on. We want to protect people all around the world. And like I told you, we need to focus on America. I'm not saying don't. But if you really want to talk about protection, this is what we should be protecting. Freedom of people worshiping Christ. And if what we don't want to miss is this. Why is it important to America? Well, because we're allowing in Texas Islamic hub being built. Because we have in Michigan a major hub of Muslims who have shouted death to America. We're allowing Hamas rallies on American soil. That's how close we are. Something we're like, oh, that's just in the liberal cities. No. It slowly but surely infiltrates your country, and then it's too late. Look at Europe. If that doesn't show anything, they're already talking about Sharia law. They're already talking about, there is literally more immigrants there that are causing more problems for the London and UK people and becoming more like the Middle East and Muslim countries than they are England. Now, here's my words. You can take them as wisdom or as idiocracy. What I don't want to see is the frog in the boiling water, where we allow this to just keep taking place because it's not close to home. We allow it to take place because it's just 70. We allow it to take place, but slowly but surely, it's creeping in on even America. A few days ago, I talked about that story in Texas. They're wanting to create basically a commune of Sharia law in a conservative state. And they're going to probably end up doing it. They're going to build Islamic schools. They're going to build all this connotation of, look, you have freedom of religion and speech. Here's the difference, though. When we allow that to come in to a point where they hate America, what have we actually done? We've allowed for dangers on our own soul. And what I'm scared of is what we see in the Congo, because we're not doing enough to help Christianity, because we're allowing Europe to be pretty much taken over by the immigration problems that they're having. And because we're really not focused on it, what are we allowing to happen here in America? I think this is just, again, a prerequisite and really a premonition of what we cannot let happen and spread across the world, and definitely into America. Guys, let me know your thoughts on these stories. Again, that one's just for me, because I guess I see it and it just breaks my heart. What I want to see is people stand up for freedom of following Christ. I think that that's something that we lacked, especially through the Biden administration. And not that it doesn't matter to Trump. I think Trump is allowing that the freedom to happen. What I don't want to see is we see a leader who's just, it is important, but not as important. It's the utmost importance. And I would love to see more people talk about it. Guys, let me know your thoughts on these stories. We thank you so very much for watching. Check out the sponsor of today's video, because it allows us to be able to do the things that we do by sharing this message for you. Have a wonderful day. God bless. Be free with me.